Have you ever watched someone pretend not to know something super obvious? Like, suddenly they can't figure out how to send an email, or they don't know how the dishes are supposed to be washed, or they go all wide-eyed and clueless when something serious comes up, just to avoid dealing with it. Let's be honest, most of us have done it too, faking confusion, acting like we're less capable than we really are. But why? Why do people pretend to be dumber than they actually are? It turns out this isn't just about being lazy or silly. It's deeper, it's strategic, and it's way more common than you think. This is the psychology of playing dumb, and the truth might surprise you. When someone pretends not to understand something they clearly could, or acts clueless when they're definitely not, that's called strategic incompetence. It's not stupidity, it's a choice, and it usually has one goal: to shift expectations. You act dumb to avoid responsibility. You act dumb to manipulate how people treat you. Or you act dumb to protect yourself in a situation that feels unsafe. It happens at work. It happens in relationships. It even happens in family dynamics, group settings, and friendships. And yes, it's a real psychological pattern backed by research. There are 3 main reasons people pretend to be dumber than they are. Let's break each one down. To avoid responsibility. This is the most obvious. People use "I don't know how" as a shield to get out of doing things. Your roommate doesn't know how to clean the tub. Your coworker can't figure out the printer. Your partner doesn't get how to manage bills. But guess what? If you weren't around, they'd figure it out. Because it's not about inability. It's about incentives. Why learn how to do something when someone else will just do it for you? This is strategic laziness, disguised as confusion. It shifts the workload to the more competent person in the room. And over time, this imbalance can become toxic, to appear more likable or harmless. Sometimes people play dumb to fit in or avoid standing out. Think of school. The student who dumbs down their answers so they don't get bullied, or the woman in a meeting who holds back her ideas so she doesn't seem too assertive. This is defense through underperformance. It's especially common among people who've been punished socially or emotionally for being smart or capable. In a world that sometimes treats confidence as arrogance or intelligence as threatening, pretending to be less is a survival tactic. It's not about being dumb, it's about being safe, to gain control through underestimation. Now here's the darker side. Some people play dumb to manipulate, because when others think you're not a threat, you gain a hidden advantage. Think of the dumb blonde trope in movies. Turns out she's running the whole game. Or the quiet guy in the back of the room who doesn't say much until he does and wrecks everybody. When you play dumb, people let their guard down. They underestimate you. And in certain settings, especially competitive ones, being underestimated is a weapon. You get to observe, plan, strike when no one sees it coming. This isn't just clever, it's calculated. Now let's back this up with some science. In psychology, there's a term called learned helplessness. This is when someone repeatedly avoids responsibility because they believe they can't change anything, even if they could. It's common in people who grew up in environments where being competent brought punishment, guilt, or neglect. For example, a child who gets scolded for asking too many questions may eventually stop asking, or a teen who's expected to always help out might start underperforming so they're left alone. This turns into adult behavior like, "I'm not good at emotional stuff, I'm just bad with money, I don't do confrontation." But deep down, they could learn. They just never felt safe enough to try. It's also supported by research. A 2015 study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that people often hide their abilities in close relationships to protect harmony. Translation: they'd rather look clueless than start a fight. Let's bring this to the real world. Here are some relatable scenarios where people fake incompetence, and why. You ask your boyfriend to do the laundry, he washes whites with colors, shrinks your hoodie, and forgets detergent. Next time, you don't ask, you do it yourself. That's weaponized incompetence. It creates a feedback loop where bad behavior gets rewarded with less responsibility. He doesn't have to improve because you'll just take over. At work, there's always that one person who doesn't get how the system works. They ask for help every week, can't do things on their own, and somehow they're still employed. Why? Because someone else picks up the slack. And in many cases, pretending to be dumb actually protects them from getting more work. They get paid the same, but do less. Meanwhile, high performers get more dumped on them because they're so good at it. You see the pattern? One partner acts like they don't understand emotional needs. They're just bad at communication. They don't know how to express feelings. They never learned how to apologize. It might seem like vulnerability, but often it's an excuse. Because if they can't learn, they don't have to change. And that gives them control. It's not always malicious, but it is damaging. Here's where it gets serious. When someone plays dumb long enough, they start believing it. Their identity becomes wrapped around not being capable. They lower the bar for themselves and stop trying. This leads to low self-esteem, stagnation, resentment from others, broken relationships, missed opportunities, and if they're surrounded by people who reinforce it, like doing everything for them, it becomes a life pattern. But here's the twist. It's reversible. With awareness, accountability, and real effort, people can stop pretending and start growing again. And if you're on the other side, constantly enabling someone else's fake helplessness, You have a choice too. You can stop being the safety net. Let them fail. Let them figure it out, because that's the only way they'll ever rise. If this video opened your eyes or made you think differently, hit that like button so more people see it. And if you want more breakdowns like this, real psychology, real behavior, real life, subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss an upload. Got a story or thought about someone playing dumb? Drop it in the comments. I read everything. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.